Because Charlie's voice was stuck tightly, his voice was very small, almost inaudible, but his mouth shape was still in place, and he really wanted to admit it. Charlie nodded in satisfaction, took the lead in letting go of his left hand for a few minutes, and sneered, "Come on, give a good call." The god of war burst into tears, and said in a hoarse voice, "Dad, please spare my life." Charlie nodded. "Well, good son, since you are so sincerely begging Dad to forgive you, then Dad will show mercy and forgive you this time." The god of war was overjoyed immediately, and at this moment, the realm master who Charlie was holding on his right hand was about to faint. Suddenly seeing his good brother named Charlie, his father was forgiven, he immediately called him father desperately. Of course, he couldn't make any sound in his throat, he could only make gestures. Seeing that he was about to call Dad, Charlie relaxed his right hand and sneered, "Come on, give you a chance to scream." The man was extremely humiliated, but in order to survive, he was still like a quail and honestly shouted, "Dad, please forgive me, Dad." Charlie nodded with satisfaction and said, "Seeing that you two are still a little sincere, then I will give you a chance to survive. Kneel on the ground and call Dad. This time if the call is good, I will let you go." The god of war blurted out and protested, "You asked me to call Dad. I have already called. Why didn't you let me go and let me call Dad on my knees?" Charlie smiled and said, "The first thing I said was to kneel down and call Dad. If you don't call, then I will let you die with dignity, and you can figure it out." The realm master on the side angrily said, "How can I say that it is also the realm master of the north? Back then, I was able to defeat 100 against 100. Don't go too far." Charlie sneered and said, "The realm master of the north? What did you do?" The landlord said, "Northern Mercenary Group, the largest private mercenary organization in the north." "Oh." Charlie nodded and said with a smile, "Hello, Realm Lord, your title is pretty awesome. I also have a title, which is given by someone from the rivers and lakes. Don't know who compares with yours is more powerful?" The landlord asked, "What is your title?" Charlie smiled faintly, "The real dragon in the world." The realm master's face changed. "Real dragon on Earth? What the hell? Is it too arrogant?" Charlie was too lazy to continue to talk to him, reapplying a bit of strength in his hand, and said blankly, "If you are willing to kneel and live, if you don't want to kneel then die, you only have 3 seconds to think about it." The realm master felt that the strength in his throat was getting stronger and stronger, and his heart was frightened, and he blurted out, "I kneel. I kneel." Charlie looked at the so-called god of war next to him. "What about you, brother war god, kneel, or don't you kneel?" "Kneel? I also kneel." The god of war also knew the truth that it is better to live than to die, and nodded without hesitation. Charlie smiled with satisfaction and directly pressed the two of them to the ground like a little chicken, and said coldly, "The voice is louder, otherwise I will abolish your roots and let you two be eunuchs for the rest of your life." The two of them trembled in shock, knelt on the ground and cried in unison, "Daddy forgive me. Daddy forgive me." Brothers Yanzhang and Yangang looked very ugly. However, at this time they have nothing to do. They could only watch the two masters kneeling on the ground, calling this young man father. Seeing the two people's devotion and earnestness, Charlie nodded in satisfaction, and said, "My dear sons, it's not bad. Being able to bend and stretch is good material for big things." The two raised their heads and looked at Charlie angrily. They had killed him 10,000 times in their hearts. At the same time, the two were thinking about the same thing. That is how to find Charlie to get the place back after passing this hurdle today. At that time, they must take his life to be able to relieve their hatred. What they didn't expect was that Charlie was actually preparing for it a long time ago, and he would never have trouble. So Charlie looked funny and said with a smile, "Two dear sons, one of you is the god of war and the other is the realm master. It is really amazing. I am very relieved for my sons, but I really do not like the two of you coming in one day. It looks like you are fighting late, so from today, be good babies who sleep on time." The two people thought that Charlie was simply humiliating them, so they were angry, but they didn't dare to say anything. But they didn't expect that Charlie had planned to abolish them long ago. As a result, he quietly released 2 auras from his hand, directly penetrated into the 2 of them, and immediately sealed their GR0 inches and meridians, making the 2 of them from the top masters in the eyes of ordinary people, and suddenly became the hands-free chicken. Power waste. If the 2 of them dared to exert force or accumulate energy, not only would it be impossible for them to explode any lethality, they would also suffer the extreme pain of tens of thousands of ants biting their bodies, even if they wanted to move a few bricks. Therefore, the 2 of them are already abolished by the standards, and they can no longer be useful. At this moment, Charlie shouted coldly to the 2 of them, "Okay, you 2 go away and stay honestly. I still have something to do. I want to have a good chat with the 2 big guys from the GU family."